Stoppage made by Keegan Gordon as we're underway here in the first period of action between the Fort Garry Twins, the visitors taking on the Charleswood Hawks on this pre-recorded edition of MMJHL Game Day. I'm your play-by-play commentator for this matchup, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. Both these teams tied in the standings heading into tonight's action as this draw 1 to Hughing. He gets stood up there by number 28 and Stevenson for the Charleswood Hawks. That's Reynolds out there along with number 28. And yes, Stevenson. Jacob getting traded along with Kalen Reynolds from the River East Royal Knights in the most recent trade here before the trade deadline, which actually is passing after today on January 10th for the Charleswood Hawks, making quite a few moves for themselves this trade deadline season, before also bringing in Eric Krekowitz to start the season off, trading Rylan Hughing for Cole Penner with this Fort Garry Twins team. So Charleswood gearing up for what they're hoping for, a long playoff run. Same with the Fort Garry Twins, even though they weren't nearly as active as Twins player. Hughing gets stripped of the puck, playing in his former home barn here tonight. As of course, as mentioned, he was a Hawk before this season. Got traded at the start of it by the Twins to this Charleswood team. Or from that Charleswood team to the Twins. As Glavina picks it up. Plays it D to number 8. And Jaden Waddell with a bit of trouble with it. Gordon out of his own net to play this. Plays it over to Glavina. Glavina off the skate of a Twins player. Almost turned over, but played back down low into the corner. All the way out now out of the Charleswood zone. Back into the Twins end. As first on it, Caligari plays it D over to Hedlund. Takes a good bump along the boards before playing this up in the direction of Caligari as he goes for a skate, trying to track it down, but Morrison was there to cut him off. Dudich off the wall, trying to find Morrison, but just out of number 13's reach, and now it's picked up by Matthews for this Twins squad. Trying to drop it back, but intercepted as Travers got a stick in the lane. Now he heads the other way. That shot into the breadbasket of December's goaltender of the month, I believe so. And Alex Pauls, I believe, getting the start here tonight. As that shot turned away by the Twins netminder. And it is, in fact, Pauls in net in this first period. Of course, brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. But the starting goaltenders in tonight's action, brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. The top two wins leaders in the league, Pauls and Gordon, going at it tonight. Keegan Gordon starting net for Charleswood here in this contest on this Friday night. Charleswood maintains pressure in the zone. Sean shot from out far. Turned aside. Rebound turned aside again by Alex Pauls, number 33. Sharp here to start off through the first 5 minutes of this matchup. Played all the way back into the Hawks end. Now picked up by the captain and Van Norman. Stick handles a bit before putting this out. Watch it reverse. Dumps it into the opposite corner as Penner gives chase on it. Going up against Livingstone. Penner trying to get the better of him on that puck battle, but couldn't. Loses it as the Twins look to take transition up. It's kicked up onto the stick now. Number 23 in Maladzinski. Ledzinski wearing number 23 for this Twins team, giving chase number 22, and Halamandaris strips away that puck. It ends up to the point where Matani's blast turned aside by Gordon. Matani now streaking up into the zone, was hoping for a pass, didn't get there. Now over to Balshaw, his shot blocked on the way through. Huge one off of the shin pad of number 23 and Van Alstyne. Van Alstyne remains out there, now crouching down to block that puck towards the slot. Never went there as the Twins looked to work it back to the point, but couldn't. As Charleswood sent this all the way down for an icing in this first period of action. This game brought to you by our lovely sponsors there in the right-hand corner. Specifically for this period, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Sure to check out their only store location in the city of Winnipeg at 995 Miltz-Eagle Drive, as well as checking out their website. Huging fired that wide through a screen. 3 or 4 players were taking away the eyes of Keegan Gordon there, both Hawks and Twins players. Matani holds out the point. His shot through right on Keegan Gordon as he makes the stoppage in the play, covering things up here. Once again, 15-18 remaining. Of course, this our second MMJHL Game Day broadcast of the weekend, as we were in Stonewall last night to broadcast the Jets taking on the Transcona Railer Express, as the Jets led 3 separate times in that one. Transcona just kept coming back, though, and would come away with a 5-3 win off of a Nolan Vandenbush empty netter to seal that 2-goal win. As for Transcona, also becoming the first team in the MMJHL to clinch a playoff spot. Gordon mishandling it a bit off the boards. That almost ends up in Huging's possession, but Huging couldn't maintain possession of it off that wall. Now a Twins player gets taken down. No call on the play. The Hawks able to get this out. The Twins, though, almost trying to get back in, but delayed offside on the play didn't allow them to. Played up to Sperber. Sperber flips this through the middle, all the way down into the Twins' end, as this allows for Charleswood to get some fresh legs onto the ice as they go off for a change. Giving good pressure now. Stick in the lane there from Reynolds, newcomer on this team, out there with Big Fuss, and that shot turned aside by Pauls. Reynolds right in the vicinity to try to get that rebound, but couldn't. Picked up by Stevenson for this Hawks team, now trying to feed this through the traffic, but couldn't get past the body of Caligari as the Twins look to stretch this up, but could not, as Big Fussin just sends this in deep with the backhand again. Given pressure, Reynolds takes down the Twins player who was trying to work that up. Number 6 and Johnson, no call on the play. Now Van Norman being hassled there by number 9, and Neufeld turned aside with that shot from the slot, goes into the netting. And with that, we're going to be getting another whistle and another stoppage in play. And another face-off coming up inside of the Charleswood Hawks end. Good pace so far from this Fort Garry Twins team, especially on that counterattack. As soon as they take it away, they were trying to get right back into the Hawk zone moments ago to attack. Ended up being an offside called on the play, of course. The Twins pick it up again. Here's Nick Gilberto off the post, and it's in! Hit the inside of the bar, and with that, number 18 strikes first here tonight for the Twins to give them an early 1-goal lead. You can see Gilberto look to the ref right away to see if that one was deemed in, and it was. What a shot from number 18, and good work early on the forecheck from this Twins team. Forces that turnover and into the possession of Gilberto's stick, makes no mistake, putting it past the wins leader in the MMJHL and Keegan Gordon to give Fort Garry the 1-0 lead here as they draw first blood. That goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. All the way down. No call on the play for an icing. So play continues here. This up to Dudich. Makes a quick little move back. Goes cross ice up. And number 22 and Anthony Jacob lets a shot go. Turned aside off the pad of number 33 and Paul, sent all the way back down into the Charleswood end now. where Dominic Canoe gives chase there. I believe it was number 18, Parker White. As White, one of the many players that's been traded to this Charleswood Hawks team this season. Of course, on the back end, this team also added in Eric Krekowitz from the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. And then earlier on in the year, adding Cole Penner. Their biggest trade most recently, though, bringing in Kalen Reynolds and Anthony Jacob. Two really big players that use their size well and are strong on the forecheck and can create good offense that way specifically. But you get two players that were leaders on the River East Royal Knights. They come over to this Charleswood Hawks team now. The hopes for this team, obviously, going all in to get to a championship. Into the slot, Reynolds scores! And in his first game as a Charleswood Hawk, the new number for Mr. Reynolds, number 20, draws blood first here to tie things up for this Charleswood Hawks squad. And just talked about their offensive abilities. Well, these two can also shoot it as well, and Kalen Reynolds makes no mistake of it there on that one as he tries to go up strong on the forecheck to take that puck away off the draw again. But just so quickly off of the stick and into the back of the net. Accurate shot past one in number 33 in Alex Pauls. As that goal brought to you by Kent Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. To Reynolds again. Kicks this out to, I believe, Van Norman, turned aside by Pauls. As now the Hawks look to get that forecheck going. Reynolds' goal maybe sparking this team in their momentum right now. They're able to hold the line. Van Norman gets it down strong, but turned over onto the stick of Johnson. Went D-to-D to Matani. Matani holds onto this puck, goes D-to-D back to Johnson. Quickly back to Matani. As number 20 looks to go for a skate. Up ice, gains into the zone, trying to cut through the middle, but was met there by a load of Hawks players. This puck stripped away. Number 22, Halamandaris, kicks this out wide to Dean Gorchinski. Halamandaris and Gorchinski both top two in the league in points heading into this week's action. Looking to be huge parts of what they're hoping is a Twins victory here tonight. 11:06 remaining in this period. Sent all the way down into the Twin zone again. And on it, number 15 in Bazin Eros. Bazin in front, turned aside. That short pass, he received it, but better to make the save was Pauls. Not that time as the Hawks go up 2-1. It's Nathan Glovina this time finding the net on an accurate shot through a load of bodies on the way through. Good screen put on there by this Charleswood Hawks team. And since that Reynolds goal, this team's been buzzing. The Twins had an opportunity to get that out, but a good forecheck from the Hawks forced that turnover down low. They get it up to the point, work it around. And with that, two unanswered for a Hawks team that was kind of hemmed in to start this game off. That Reynolds goal has truly kind of shifted the momentum into the Hawks' favor. So they work this up again. Carlson before the blue line backhands this in. Giving chase, trying to force that turnover. Can't. This puck gets all the way up to Hugan. Has a man with him. Decides to drop this to Medwick. His shot turned aside by the glove of Gordon. 10:15 remaining. This first period of action. Take a Jace Matthews on the draw. Loses this, but kept in by Hedlund. Plays this down low to Neufeld. Neufeld tried to work it down low to Gilberto, but couldn't. Gilberto, the goal scorer for the Twins in this matchup here tonight, tried to get a stick on that puck to take it away, but couldn't. It's sent out by Charleswood, and it's Mac Carlson who has that puck shot way wide of the net there. And now it's the Twins who work it up again. Onto the stick of Gilberto. Feeds it cross ice to Neufeld, but went off of his twig. wasn't able to cradle the pass, but draws a penalty on the play. It'll be number 18, Parker White, going to the box. 2 minutes for a hook, as it's called by the head referee. And with that, bring Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia back onto the screen. Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. As the Twins onto the power play for the first time here tonight, sent all the way down by this Charleswood Hawks squad. Into Fort Garry's end as Pauls leaves that for a teammate. The Twins skate this out. Gorchinski feeds it to the middle to Bolshaw. Passed across to Halamandaris, who turned aside there by Gordon. Halamandaris gets it back, though. Cross-ice feed to Gorchinski. Rip scores! And just like that, we got a tie game on the power play. Dean Gorchinski scoring what's his 17th of the season, his 58th point of the year. On a power play that ranks middle of the pack for this Fort Garry Twins team. But hey, when you're able to have stars on that power play, makes quite a bit of a difference in terms of how it operates and how these players are able to dictate the game. Dictating that play there, Halamandaris able to strip his man away from the puck. Locates a wide open Dean Gorchinski with some great puck movement there, and Gorchinski with a ton of space in front of him. Let's a rocket go past number 1 in Keegan Gordon. Nice quick snapshot. As we're tied up again in this one, under halfway left to play here in this first period of action, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. For that goal, back in again as Gorchinski feeds it over to Halamandaris, but missed 22 with that pass. Puck ends up all the way out where it's gathered by Hedlund. He plays that across to Ladzinski. Glavina takes some checking up the boards. So he sent that puck in deep. Hawks go off for a change. Might regret this right now as Balshaw gets this puck right into the zone. Quick shot turned aside by that glove, Gordon. And with that, another face-off coming here inside of the Hawks' end. It's the straw. Won by Charleswood and played off the boards. Now passed up to Dudic, but can't find number 11. This turned over onto the stick of Hugen now, who shot way wide of the net there. Might have hit a stick on the way through as the former Hawk looking for his first of the night. Trying to join in on the fun of the scoring so far. As Johnson, his pass up, can't quite find Hugen. A few Hawks players there to take that lane away. Eric Johnson strips away a man of the puck, gets that up, took a bump. Another Twins player takes a bump in Medwick, but the Twins get it back control in their own end. As this skated played up by number 20 in Matani off of the stick of Hugen that went. It's into the Hawks' possession back in their own end. Van Alstyne, short little pass over to Van Norman, stretches this up to Penry, who tried to redirect that in, but couldn't get it past Eric Johnson as he blocked that up. Johnson now tries to feed it through. Caught a bit of a piece of a Hawks player on the way through for that pass. Maybe a too many men penalty coming here, but that not being the case as the Charleswood crowd a bit furious about that one. As usually you see that get called. Neufeld gets taken out hard to the ice. Reverse picks the puck up, handcuffing Pauls a bit, but Pauls able to come away with that save. Now Neufeld gets lit up in the neutral zone, but a 2-on-1 headed the other way as that shot turned aside by Gordon. Matani elected to shoot instead of passing it over. So with that, we'll get a face-off coming right inside of the Charleswood Hawks zone. A few words. Keep your head up in this one, as we've seen players taking runs at each other so far here tonight. The most recent one, Hawk connecting on that hit on number 9 for this Twins team, and Sean Neufeld. Is Neufeld still out there? As this stretched up to Gilberto, trying to split through the D, but couldn't. Loose puck picked up by Neufeld, takes it to the backhand, dragging it there. Tries to maneuver down low away from the pressure of Van Norman. Is a good job by 5 to stay on him. Puck ended up out of play and gives us a face-off coming inside of the Hawks zone once again. Elliot Lewis tried to win it for the Hawks back, but it's the Twins who do instead. Number 23 in Wadzinski. As Canoe gloves this one down, trying to keep it in. It's number 16 and Matt Carlson who busts through the check-in and all the way down into the Twins zone now. Turned aside with that shot down the left side by Alex Pauls. With that, of course, Alex Pauls has been nothing short of sensational as this season's gone along for this Fort Garry Twins team. Leads the league in save percentage out of goalies playing a minimum of 240 games. For Pauls, he's played over 1,000 minutes so far this season. Not as much as Keegan Gordon, though, the goaltender on the other side, as he's played over 1,300 minutes so far this season. Definitely the workhorse for this Charleswood Hawks team. Has been pretty darn consistent, too. 16-6 on the season. It's getting a look, like I said, at two of the best goaltenders in the league here tonight. But both of these teams have found ways to beat them so far here tonight, whether that's through screens or just really clean shots being let go. As the Hawks able to send this one out. Played D-to-D from Voth to Livingstone. Played on to Gordon, and he sends that into the corner direct. Sit there. As the Hawks play this D-to-D, Van Norman lost it in his skates for the moment. Played it back with a backhand to his D partner as this gets played up now onto the stick of Reynolds. Already has a goal in this game. His first, of course, as a Charleswood Hawk. It's Reynolds down low, helping out on support on that forecheck as Stevenson goes to battle, trying to get this puck loose. It's Reynolds who does get a hold of it. Can't quite get that pass through as it remains in the corner. Onto the stick of Eric Voth now. Passes one up, snaps it onto the stick of Rylan Hugan, who got caught off right away. As now onto the stick, Anthony Jacob loses possession of it for this Charleswood Hawks team. Nice job to back check and get it back almost. So now the Hawks look to stretch this up, but a fan on that pass. Quick little pass over to Hugan, held in at the line by Livingstone. Now Jacob gets some body contact on Livingstone, forces the turnover the other way. Morrison driving to the net on Voss. Spinorama pass to Jacob in the low slot, but couldn't connect on that cleanly as Jacob fans on it. Sent back in the corner for Jacob. Leaves this down low, trying to keep the cycle going, but intercepted by the Twins and sent in by Neufeld. Giving chase on that puck. Almost cut off that clear out attempt from Gordon. With 3:13 remaining in this first period of action, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Waddell giving chase on this loose puck. Gets pinned for a moment along the boards there by Matani, but able to get loose to continue on with this attack. Penner gets that puck loose into the slot to reverse, but couldn't locate number 17 as now Matani loses an edge. No call on the play, picked up by Neufeld, and good support. His shot turned aside off the side of the net there. And rebound picked up by Jace Matthews over to Johnson. That shot couldn't be handled cleanly by Gordon, but ended up into the corner. Matthews sends this down low. Behind the back, Neufeld to a teammate. Out into the slot for Neufeld, or for Jace Matthews. He ends up losing an edge, blowing a tire. So the scoring side goes out the window, but maybe here's a chance for Jace Matthews to get some redemption on that chance he just had. Shot ended up being blocked. As this back into the neutral zone. Sent into the body of Gilberto as he was able to get in the lane there. D-to-D the Twins go. A stretch pass up to Gorchinski now, as he does a good job to protect along the wall for the time being. Sperber, a nice job to take that away from him, sends that down low deep for Elliot Lewis. Battling along the boards there with Dean Gorchinski, captain for this Twins team. Gorchinski, nice stick to stick that away, gets it up to Halamandaris. Halamandaris feeds it across to Balshaw. Balshaw now trying to leave a draw pass back for Halamandaris, but that cut off well. As we approach the final minute of the period coming up soon here, as the Twins misfire on this stretch pass up. So we'll be getting a face-off coming up inside of the Fort Garry end. Stevenson to take the draw out there with new line mate, new teammate in Kalen Reynolds. Losing this draw with Stevenson. The Twins look to flip this puck out. Of course, the fourth meeting of the season between these two clubs. Last one was a 4-3 shootout victory for the Charleswood Hawks in a game where they came back against this Twins side. That was a road game too for this Hawks team. And a team that now finds themselves, of course, tied with the Twins in the standings in points. So what better feeling would it be for the Hawks than to not only come away with a win here tonight, but to get back in the second place solely if they're able to somehow find a way to come away with this one here tonight. And for the Twins, what an opportunity to get some redemption. Last time out, blowing that game to lose in a shootout, blowing a lead against Charleswood. So they started off that game out in front. Hugin finds this in his skates, kicks it up to himself, feeds this across. That shot off of the knob, or the shaft of Gordon's stick, as he thanks it afterwards. Sperber coming down the other way. Maybe one last chance. Tries to maneuver up the boards. Locates that puck. Gets it to the point. Opposite point to Van Norman, but into his skates. It's a bit too awkward of a position for him to maintain possession of that pass across, as it was sent over to him pretty hard on that pass to get through. But with that, period one concludes with shots to be determined. We'll have that total for you coming up before the start of the second period of action. But as for the scoreboard here, 2-2 between these two sides. Kalen Reynolds scoring his first goal as a Charleswood Hawk to tie it up at 1 apiece at the time. Charleswood scored 2 unanswered. Started off with Nick Gilberto opening the scoring for Fort Garry. Reynolds and Nathan Glavina for the Hawks scored back-to-back. Then moments later, the Fort Garry Twins would go onto the power play, and it'd be Halamandaris who snaps a beautiful pass across to Dean Gorchinski, who lets an even better shot rip past Keegan Gordon. Shots are actually 14 apiece between these two teams. And yeah, should be a game that continues to stay tight as we move along here into the upcoming periods. We'll have period number 2 coming up for you next year on MMJHL Game Day on this pre-recorded version on this Friday night on January 10th. From Eric Hoy in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The Hawks, the home side, looking for an advantage on the scoreboard coming up as they're tied with the Fort Garry Twins after the first 20 here. Hope you enjoy the second period, everyone. It's coming up next here on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca, your home for MMJHL hockey here in the province of Manitoba.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
Welcome into the upcoming second period of this MMJHL Game Day broadcast. This pre-recorded version of this game between the Fort Garry Twins and the Charleswood Hawks. Second period set to get underway here right away as both teams are at center ice. There's a lot of back and forth in that first period of action. Do we get the same type of results here? As no team had a lead for long in that first. Started off with Nick Gilberto for the Fort Garry Twins, opening up the scoring. Just over a minute later, Kalen Reynolds scoring his first goal as a Charleswood Hawk to get things back to even. Nathan Glavino would beat Alex Paul shortly later to make it 2-1 for the Hawks in that first period of play. Through a screenshot and a few minutes later, it would be Gorchinski who would answer back with a bullet of a shot on the power play to beat number 1 in Keegan Gordon, the MMJHL's wins leader with the shot. Shots were 14-14 in that first period of action. A lot of back and forth between these two squads. And a game that not sure we're going to get much separation at all tonight on the scoreboard if the first period is any indication of how this one's going to go. This goes all the way down for an icing as we're into the second period, brought to you by goaltenders as well as Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Be sure to check out their website at terrico.ca for more information. The Hawks end up winning the draw, playing it off of the backboards, trying to go D-to-D, but that pass was just a bit too far out of the reach for Van Norman. Whipped across by Hugan, but finding no one. I think that pass intended for Medwick as he busts back. As Tronito drag through his number 9 and Sperber. Shot wide of the net there off the backhand from Reynolds. He's looking for a second in the game here. Medwick, nice job to strip away this puck from Parker White. Sends it to the slot for number 19 in the slot. Drops this back for Hugan, who shot just wide of the net there this time on Reynolds. That shot looked like it was dipping a bit, but it couldn't track on net for Matani. It's turned over onto Big Fusson's stick. Drops this to Reynolds. His shot just wide of the net. I think he might have fanned on it a bit. Rylan Hugan near his own blue line takes this away now. Just able to get it out. Reynolds spins around and fires right back in. Goes off for a change. Gets his former River East teammate onto the ice, and Anthony Jacob, first forechecker in, waited a bit, allowed for the Twins to send a breakout pass out, but into the stick of Matani. A bit of trouble handling it. Forces a turnover onto the stick of number 22. And Jacob feeds it, backdoor scores! Well, Reynolds made some great things happen in that first period, and now it's Anthony Jacob. Continues hard on that puck to stay with it. Circles around up top to that high slot where he draws some players to him, leaves a wide open number 13 and Nathan Morrison in front of the net to tap that one home. And with that, for this Fort Garry Twins team, they regain the lead for the first time tonight since leading this game 1-0. That goal brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. It's Morrison able to pick this puck up again, sends it into the slot. That shot high of the net, picked up high by Dudich. His shot turned aside. Pauls almost had to make another one, but the Twins prevail, able to get out, chipping it in. Sorry, 3-2 in favor of this Charleswood Hawks side, as that puck covered up by goaltender and Keegan Gordon. For the Hawks with 16:47 remaining. in the second period of action. Penner out to take the draw against number 23 in Ladzinski. Lost that draw to Penner. The Hawks able to break this puck out into the skate of Bazin. That pass went picked up by Penner. Tried to shoot it through a screen. Went off of Hedlund's shin pad. Just enough the right way for that to deflect wide into the corner and not make it to its desired target. To the net. But it's the Hawks who lead this game again for the first time since being up 2-1 in that first period. Parker White's shot tipped but not through to the net there on Alex Pauls. Picked up by the Hawks again, though, just outside of the blue line and transitioned in. Turned over into the Twins' possession now. That stretch pass up for Canute, just out of his reach as he gives chase. Dives to try to negate this icing, but couldn't quite do it as it gets called anyways. So we'll get a face-off all the way back down into the Twin zone here coming up. Yeah, this Hawks team, since that Reynolds goal in that first period of action to tie this game up at 1 apiece, they've really found a spark on that forecheck, and some good things have come out of it. Good pressure sustained in the Twin zone, more and more as this game goes along, too. For the Fort Garry Twins, how do you get back to, near the start of the game where this team came out guns a-blazing and was all over this Hawk squad? See if they can look to change that. Have to make better first passes out of the zone. First off, though, unlike those two, is picked up by Elliott Lewis, taking it to the slot, lost the puck. Sperber sent it wide of the net upon picking up the loose trash in that high slot. As mentioned, Elliott was stripped away of it. Elliott Lewis, that is. It's picked up. Van Norman skates back, almost loses an edge. Halamandaris right there to strip the puck away from him. But Van Norman able to recover, and now he skates up, shielding that puck with one hand on the backhand. Turns to the forehand. That shot turned aside by number 33 in Pauls into the corner. Twins try to stretch this cross ice, but couldn't. This puck ends up back into the Hawks' end. Nathan Glavina surveying options. Tries to stretch this up to Reynolds, but couldn't. That one off the mark for number 20. The Twins force this in deep. Balshaw out there along with Halamandaris and Gorchinski. Gorchinski lays a small hit there on Reynolds. Not a small hit by any means, but not a big one at that. Just a nice little bump on number 20 there from the captain for the Twins. That long shot went all the way down into Gordon's glove. As we take a look on to the Fort Garry Twins bench, as they get a change on with some fresh legs onto the ice. A new deep pairing out there with Hedlund and Caligari. Medwick to take the draw for this Twin squad, and he wins it to Huging. That rip off of the face-off win. Wide of the net it went. Huging down low, tried to receive that pass back, but couldn't get it off of the stick of Lizotte. Skate up now by Reynolds. Has Stevenson heading to the net. Tried to get it to him. There ends up off of the corner instead into the slot, and Big Fussin's shot goes wide of that net. As his puck sent all the way out back down into the Charleswood end. Gordon out of his own net left it there for Parker White. Passed up now into the skates in the neutral zone of Reynolds. But that ends up being called out of play. So with that, we'll get a face-off just outside of the Twins' end here, closest to their bench. A little love for our goaltenders as well here tonight. This goaltender is one of our official sponsors of the second period specifically, too. Your goalie's personal video review service. Check out what they have to offer at GordyTumbleson.Goalies.ca. Nice touch pass up to Huging. Sends that to the net, but off of the skates it went. Medwick couldn't connect with him. Now taken up by Morrison. Looking to build some speed. The most recent goal scorer in this game drops it to Dudich. Fends off some stick checking. Now written out in the corner into the boards. Dudich right back onto his skates, but couldn't strip that away from Hugin as he made a pass out Sent back in again. Hugen now drawing a penalty as Dudic got some revenge. There, Hugen's cage off. I think a high stick coming up here on the play. So Hugen has some words for Dudic as he makes his way back to the bench. Dudic over to talk to him. I guess no penalty actually coming up here on the play. It was just a stoppage in play at that. I believe an offside called. So we play on. But look for that. Those two players, see if that's the end of it between those two here tonight. There's still plenty of game left to be played. You know, Dudic is a player, his play style. Likes to play hard, likes to play aggressive. And isn't afraid to get in the other team's players' kitchens. As the Charleswood Hawks look to work this up, they keep it in the corner for now. Bazin takes a hit, rolls off of it along the boards. Now pinned up by Voth. Good support, though, out there with Morrison. But the Twins are able to chip this out. Nice job by Glavina, though, to get a stick in the lane to disrupt that from going up any further in the neutral zone, as this is back into the Twins' end now. You go D-to-D off the backboards. That pass up to Gilberto. He couldn't cradle it cleanly. Gilberto tries to touch this up in the neutral zone, but couldn't traverse. Makes his way in, taken down, no call on the play. This puck sent all the way into the Hawk zone. And it's called for an icing. So the Hawks able to get some fresh legs out, looking to take advantage of a bit of a tire group still out there for this Fort Garry Twins team. Huge to win the draw, though, there from Jace Matthews for the Twins. They play this D-to-D around the boards to Neufeld. Sean Neufeld can't quite chip that out as of yet, though. They finally do get it out. They cut off by Van Elstein, sends it right back up to Carlson. Tries to feed a pass through to Elliott Lewis, but just off the mark on the stick of number 19. Another stoppage in play, but we take a look at the standings in these two teams heading into tonight. Quickly here, as both tied with an identical 41 points, a 20-win, 7-loss, and 1 extra-time loss record there, as you can see. Fort Garry, though, with more goals for and less goals against. In fact, the least goals against out of any team in the league heading into this week's action. This is a team that the most shots they allowed in their 2 games last weekend was 16 to the Junior Victorias in that dominant shutout victory they had 4-0. Pounded Pembina Valley last Friday at home 11-1 and held them to only 12 shots. Fort Garry here tonight looking to get back even this time around, though, as they trail this one. Some adversity for the first time here in 2025 as Gorchinski plays it up to Matani. His shot through, but wide of the net. As this sent all the way back down into Fort Garry's end. Sam Matani on it. Reverses this behind the back to Halamandaris. Halamandaris behind the back. Tried to go. Number 6 in Balshaw, but couldn't. Couldn't get through. Sorry, that was Eric Johnson who wears number 6. Defenseman for this Twins team. Line held by Stevenson. Onto the stick of Matani now. He just flips this out and it's able to get past. Sean taking a bounce on him. So he tried to glove that down. Fort Garry also coming into tonight's matchup as the hottest team in the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League, riding a 7-game win streak. Last time this team lost was early December. That shot off the post this time. And I think another post for the Hawks afterwards as the net goes off. With that, the Hawks continuing to take advantage of some lax puck movement inside of the Twins' end. Look, Charleswood is going to come hard at you with a forecheck. That's something they've done all season long. In fact, Dylan Smith, head coach of the Charleswood Hawks, when talking to him, he says the identity of this Charleswood team is, yes, they have skill, but it's about speed and hard work. This Twins team with a lot of skill, but how are you going to look to work in this one to shore up your mistakes and to get a bit cleaner in your defensive zone? Try to get some offense rolling the other way. Medwick trying to take it to the net. Backhand fanned on. And a penalty called afterwards. So ends up being Hugan going off for an interference penalty. So with that, I believe Hugan, maybe they called him for a pick there that he set. I'm not too sure. Regardless, it's this Hawks team going back to the power play. The Twins on to the penalty kill. Give some love to goaltenders here. Sponsor of all things special teams for penalty kills here on MMJHL Game Day, as that puck ends up out of play and into the netting. For the Fort Garry Twins, of course, going up against the 6th-ranked power play in the MMJHL heading into tonight at 16.5 for this Charleswood Hawks squad as they work it down low. Elliot Lewis gets this up to Glavina, to Van Alstyne, over to Vigfuss, and that shot snatched out of the air there. Quick glove save by Pauls to settle things down here. For the Fort Garry Twins, this has been a unit that they've been able to rely on to get them through quite often on the PK so far this season, as they rank 2nd on PK percentage in the league out of any team in this 10-team league at 85.3%. Only team better in that regard, the St. Boniface Riels. So far, it's Charleswood who has kept this to the outside, looking to work it to the inside here, but the Twins not allowing them to get in. That shot from the point, tipped and finding the pad of Pauls as he made the save. It's dumped all the way down again. Gordon leaves this for Van Alstyne, as Van Alstyne surveys his options, flips a little saucer pass in the neutral zone for Penner. Penner backpedals a bit before sending this cross ice to Van Alstyne, where Van Alstyne past the red line sends that all the way in, trying to get a rim around. Penner able to get possession of that puck along the boards. Got past him along the half wall now. As down low, him and Matt Carlson look to go to work. They're unable to, as the Twins able to get this out. Sent all the way down. Gordon out of his crease to leave it. Was kidding. Instead, he plays it. Pulled it back. Had a Twin coming at him hard. And Neufeld there. This played up. Number 3 in Sean. Was running out of room, just decides to play it off the boards, rims it around to Carlson. He takes a bump, and that pass out to the point. A misplay there. This is picked up by Jace Matthews, circling around in the neutral zone, now back into his own end. Is a great kill for the Fort Garry Twins in a game where they're down by one so far at this point. 3-2 in favor of the Hawks remains that way. It's the 2nd best power play in the unit in the league, showing exactly why they are the best, 2nd best power play unit in the league. Penner off the board, sends this all the way down. Goes off for a change too. The Hawks also getting some fresh legs out on the back end for themselves as Van Norman comes on for the change. An icing on the play. Brings this face off back into the Fort Garry end of things. It's Morrison on to take the draw, going up against number 22 and Carter Howell-Menderes. Howell-Menderes strong on it to win it back to Matani. Matani's pass up to Gorczynski, able to make it there at the end. Found some traffic on the way through at first. As that pass through, Gorczynski Took a big hit afterwards. It's onto the stick of Matani as Matani looks to protect this out wide. Fends off one check, looking to fend off the other, but a nice job by Morrison to cut off the angle there and allowing for this Hawks team to take it away. Flipped into the neutral zone and onto the stick of Jacob. His shot turned aside into the crest of Paul's jersey. As Jacob, of course, with an assist on that game-leading goal for this Hawks squad. Onto the stick of Morrison, over onto the stick of Reynolds now. Tries to kick it up to himself, but couldn't quite do it. Just play it up to Gorchinski. Gorchinski now kicks it to a teammate in Balashaw, who drops this for Gorchinski. Tries to get it back to Balashaw, pass a bit behind him. Balashaw tried to send it behind the back to the captain, but couldn't. This turned over and now picked up and skating with some speed, building some up, is Stevenson. Past the blue line now. Stevenson tries to whip that across on that rush attack, but couldn't. Dudic in the corner, loses the puck, taken away. Now played up by Stevenson. Whips this into the opposite corner off the boards. Now picked up by Reynolds, surveying his options. Tries to go to the low slot, but Vig Fussin just a bit too well covered there. The Twins were ready for it that time. Neufeld couldn't send it in deep. Turnover forced onto the Hawks' possession. Vig Fussin drops this. Reynolds, his shot, just high of the net. It was rising on the way through to Paul's. So the Hawks keep this pressure going. Waddell holds the line. Backhands or one-hands this to the net. Turned aside by Paul's. Waddell still in the Twin zone. Now makes his way back to the neutral zone as the Hawks play this D-to-D in their own end. Back to Stevenson. Stevenson across to Vig Fussin, but taken away by the Twins and sent in again with 4:40 left in this period. It's a 3-2 lead for the home side, the Hawks, courtesy of Morrison. It's Vig Fussin weaving in. His shot blocked and sent wide of the net. As this picked up again by Cole Penner. That shot through, scores! Well, if you're going to beat a goaltender of Alex Pauls to the tune of 4 times like this Charleswood Hawks team has tonight, not every single one of your goals is going to be clean, and not many of them have been for the Hawks here tonight. As that shot from Penner from the point out ends up sending it to the net where it dips a bit. I believe it tipped off of a player's stick. Whether that was a Hawks player's or the Twins, no matter, is Penner. This time cutting down the angle is Pauls. That goal brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. But yeah, Penner, just good things happen when you throw it on the net, and he is the beneficiary of that motive that time, as he gets this Hawks team out in front by 2 in the final 4 minutes of this period now, as the Fort Garry Twins looking to, of course, get back into this on the scoreboard now, trying to draw within 1 at this point. Hugan, his shot turned aside into the corner now off of the stick of Keegan Gordon. Out of the net goes all the way up to Traverse. Played up to Bazin. This puck all the way into the Hawks crease. Gordon was maybe second guessing himself if he should play that or not. Decided to hold on to it. So we got another stoppage in play here. 3:21 remaining. This, of course, one of 3 games being played on this Friday night in the MMJHL, with the Thursday night doubleheader happening yesterday. Gives all 4 of those teams a night off. As for the teams in action tonight, the St. Boniface Reals right now leading 4-1 against the St. James Junior Canucks. In this game, Hellmander's under the bar, scores a beauty to get this one within 1 for this Fort Garry Twins team. And great skill there from Halamandaris. Could have sworn it was him who pickpocketed a Hawk earlier on in this game in that first period and set up that power play goal by Gorchinski. But nonetheless, this time around, Halamandaris pickpocketing the man again, taking that puck away and in tight, going up against a few Hawks defenders who were defending against him, able to stick handle through in tight, pulling it back and putting it just under the bar to beat Keegan Gordon for a beauty for number 22. As this one goes down for an icing. That goal brought to you by Terrico. Be sure to check out their website at terrico.ca for more details on how they help Manitoba producers here in the agricultural industry in the province. This is definitely the closest game on the scoreboard so far here tonight in MMJHL play. The Reals right now up 4-1 over the St. James Junior Canucks into the second period. And for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club up by quite a bit right now, 6-0 on the Pembina Valley Twisters. As a penalty coming up here. 2 minutes for interference. There's quite a lot of commotion coming from the crowd. It ends up being a Hawk taking the penalty in Waddell. That sends goaltenders onto the screen, your goalie's personal video review service. As Keegan Gordon looks to be sharp here on a penalty kill for the Charleswood Hawks so far this season. That hasn't been a strong point for this club, ranking 7th in the league at 80.7% exactly. 5th ranked power play for the Twins. Almost connecting there was Halamandaris for a second straight goal, but just off the mark. Gorchinski controls this up to Johnson. Whips this across to Halamandaris, back to Gorchinski. Gorchinski, a bit of patience, decides to hold on to this puck for now instead of forcing it to the net. Now he tries to force it to the net. Sends it there, deflected into the body of Keegan Gordon. A face-off draw coming to the blocker hand side of Gordon, won by Gorchinski. Up top to the point. That shot tipped, but wide of the net. It goes off of the stick of Rylan Hugan. Hugan lays the body now in the corner, trying to muscle this puck up to the point, and does just that. Gets it to number 22 and Halamandaris. Whips this across to Johnson. His shot, huge block there to not allow it to get through by Sean. This puck in the corner, controlled still by the Twins in the Hawk zone. Whipped across to Halamandaris, takes it off the boards, tries to send it back, but cut off by number 17 in Traverse for this Hawks team, and gets it all the way down, back into the Twins zone. Great work, great pressure so far for this Twins team on the power play, but just not able to quite find any seams through the middle of the Hawks penalty kill right now once entering into the zone. So they got it locked up. There's 3 Twins players down low into the final minute of the play now. So they try to get this puck loose. Number, I believe 18 along the boards, keeps it there, and Kai Parker. Now this ends up into the slot. Penalty coming up here again. 2 minutes for a charge. It's going to be to Nick Gilberto. He kind of gets heckled by the crowd on the way through. Well, with that, we're back to even strength, 4-on-4 here for the next 16 seconds, and then the Charleswood Hawks go on to the penalty kill. So a scrum of players. Sorry, the Hawks go on to the power play coming up. It's the Twins who go to the penalty kill. The crowd of players in Gilberto came through a bit of a bowling ball and knocked one down. To his disadvantage, though, is Glavina. Big drive to the net, denied in tight. Number 33 in Paul's. It's the Hawks on even strength now. Or on the power plays, I should say, as Vig Fussen along the wall plays this up top to Van Alstyne as the Hawks look to extend this lead to 2, heading into the third intermission, into the second intermission, into the third. They play it up to the point. That shot through, but wide of the net as it's blocked. Another shot from the corner gets through. This time around, Paul's making the save. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we send it into the final period of regulation, a 4-3 advantage in favor of the Charleswood Hawks, the home side. And they'll be on the power play for the next minute and 16 seconds to start off that frame. Goal scorers in that period for them, Morrison and Penner. But Halamander is keeping things interesting, getting the Twins back within 1. Late into the period. At that, this is a game that Fort Garry started off by leading, and just like last time they played against the Hawks, they've seen that lead go away. They were down by 2 at one point. A bit better for them heading into this next period, but a lot of work to do on this upcoming penalty kill. We'll see if that second best penalty kill in the league can come through for them here coming up. And see if they can start off the third period on the right foot to get this game shifted back into their favor for the Charleswood Hawks. They'll be looking to keep things simple coming up in the next period, but if I'm them, I'm not sitting back at all. I'm going to continue to keep coming at this Fort Garry Twins team, and why wouldn't you, given that this is only a 1-goal lead for them? Looking for more goals should be the motto. But also, don't do anything stupid. Make the right decisions in the defensive zone with the puck, and Charleswood has a very good chance to come away with a victory in this one. But you got to also expect that this Twins team, you know, if I'm Scott Wong, I'm trying to get these boys fired up, getting them to want to run through a wall for me. And I'm trying to get them coming out with way more juice than they started with here tonight. We'll see if this Twins team can do exactly that, get a better jump in on the second period. They're on the penalty kill to start things off. So we will see what happens for sure here coming up on MMJHL Game Day. And this period brought to you by Terrico and Goaltenders. Next period will be brought to you by Make-Canada Fasteners and Tools. And that's also the next commercial you're going to see here before we throw it to period 3 on this pre-recorded edition of MMJHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions, your home for hockey here in Manitoba in 2024-2025.
Make-Canada Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, Make-Canada Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, Make-Canada Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Welcome back into Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day here on this Friday night in this pre-recorded edition of MMJHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions, as it's the home side, the Charleswood Hawks, up 4-3 after the first 40 minutes of play on the visitors in the Fort Garry Twins. This game so far, as always, brought to you by Make-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Make-Canada Fasteners and Tools will be the official third period sponsor once again coming up, as they'll be featured on any special team sequences and shown on the screen at various times throughout these next 20 minutes of action. But yeah, how that period went, it was 2-1 on the scoreboard in favor of the Charleswood Hawks. Nathan Morrison scoring his 6th of the year And then Cole Penner scoring his 16th of the season to make it 4-2, 15:38 into the period. It'd be Carter Helamanderas, though, with a heck of a solo effort to strip away the puck on the forecheck and stick handling and tight, going towards the net, being hounded a bit by the Charleswood Hawks. Didn't matter for number 22, as he's able to put it under the bar past Keegan Gordon to make things interesting on the scoreboard once again. Not that they weren't interesting before, but 4-3 hockey game, which stands heading into the intermission and into these next 20 minutes of play. It's a power play for the next minute and 16 seconds for this Charleswood Hawks team to start off, as it was Nick Gilbert who ended up taking a charging penalty, and apparently, there was quite a bit of commotion going on between Gilberto and the fans in the stands. Some Charleswood fans heckling number 18 on his way to the box. But yeah, both teams out onto the ice once again. Be the Fort Garry Twins going from right to left on our broadcast screen for this period, and the Hawks will be flying from left to right. This power play unit will start off with Kalen Reynolds, Vig Fussin, and Elliot Lewis. Glavina and Van Elstein on the back end. And for Kalen Reynolds, has looked really strong, really sharp in his Charleswood Hawks debut here tonight. Been a real difference maker. Had the first goal of the game here tonight, and is looking for more as we're underway here for this period of action. Brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools, as Glavina able to get loose down low, drops us back to Elliot Lewis as the Hawks look to control. To the outside and back down low again onto the stick of Reynolds. Stick handle, surveying options, goes off the boards, back up top to Glavina. Whips this across to Van Elstein. Tried to send a pass to Vig Fussin, but fanned on it. That puck towards the net taken away by the Twins and skated up by Caligari. It's down the right side. Caligari upon entry sends a shot wide of the net. This is picked up by Glavina. 33 seconds left to work with here on this man advantage. Glavina able to maneuver his way through into the Twins' end. Spins around, fires down low, trying to locate Elliot Lewis. That just out of 19's reach. Takes a bit of a high stick afterwards. No call on the play as Van Elstein gets it back. Number 14, Vig Fussin into the slot, scores! That's exactly where he scored his first goal of the night from. He scores his second of the night. We were just talking about him, number 20 in Kalen Reynolds. What a debut for him in this Hawks jersey. Just talked about Reynolds right at the start of this period, at the start of this game, talking about the size that he plays with, how strong he is on the forecheck. Well, he's also a really smart player, finding open ice twice now, sitting open in the slot and making no mistake with an accurate and quick one-timer twice here tonight. As that goal brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools. Charleswood striking on the power play as well, leading this one 5-3. As this to the middle, Medwick driving to the net now, tries to send that backdoor into the direction of Lizotte, but pass never got there as was cut off well by Charleswood. Dudich tried to reach for that puck, but ends up on the stick of Medwick. Took a bump from Waddell. As Waddell gets taken down as well. No call there on the play. As this rimmed around, but not quite out. Picked up by Lizotte into the open slot, man, for Hugen, as Hugen turned aside by Gordon. Couldn't get that much on that shot either. It's number 8. Would have liked to have it back for sure. Was contested out in front. Sweet ring. A face-off back inside of the Hawks zone, won by Charleswood Hawks team. But nice work by the Twins on the forecheck to force a turnover in that quick shot into the slot from Matani. Matani staying physical on Elliot Lewis, gives him a bump. This flip pass almost gets through all the way to Sperber, but couldn't back in the neutral zone and worked up again. cross ice by the Twins into the zone. Draw pass up to the point, onto the stick of Halamandaris. Backhands this towards the net, but couldn't get there. It was blocked up. As Van Norman keeps this higher up in the zone with a kick of the puck, as that results in a penalty afterwards. 2 minutes for a hook. Going to number 19 and Elliot Lewis. So the Fort Garry Twins get a chance to go back to work on the power play. They've already scored once on the power play here tonight. That coming from Dean Gorchinski in the first period to tie it up at 2 apiece at the time. Gorchinski not out there right now. Right now it's Matani along with Hedlund at the points. Medwick, Gilberto, I believe, as well as Lizotte, who scores! Well, the Twins make quick work out of that penalty kill for the Charleswood Hawks. Quick work on their power play. 14 seconds in, able to work this puck to the low slot to Lizotte. As Lizotte out in front, making no mistake this time around, able to beat Gordon on the ice with that shot. And with that goal, another one brought to you by Midcanton Fasteners and Tools. We got a 1-goal game again against two teams tied for second place heading into this week. Something's got to give. One of these teams is going to be clear-cut second place by the end of this one. Heading into a weekend that should be a lot of fun here in the MFHL. Or in the MMJHL, as I should say. As that covered up by Keegan Gordon. Getting a stoppage. Yeah, that's a look at the schedule here on Sunday. All teams will be in action. Fort Garry will be at home to take on the Twins. And Charleswood on the road to take on the River East Royal Knights. That turned aside by Gordon again, covered up. As won by the Twins to the point. Hedlund gets taken out. Or Livingstone, that is. Huge hit. Number 22 in Jacob. That short shot turned aside by Gordon again. And Medwick got lit up too there. Getting quite the response from the Charleswood bench too. Hooting and hollering to their teammates out there making those huge hits. May also be some noise from the Charleswood crowd getting into this one too. As this played up to the point, Voth kicks it up to himself and gets it back to Lizotte. Down low to Hugen. Hugen tries to go off the boards to protect this, but couldn't. This is back down low to number 8. Tries to spin away from the check-in, but cut off well there by Van Elstein down low. Glove down now by Lizotte to keep this going. This attack for this Twins team, the most recent goal scorer in this game. Now it's to Rylan Dujic. Flips this across to Jacob, but couldn't find number 22, a former captain for the River East Royal Knights, kept in by this Hawks squad. Over to Van Norman. Gets this down low where Dudic muscles his way through to get to that loose puck. Plays it up to Reynolds, who Reynolds continues down low, strong on his feet as he fended off Livingstone on the way through. The stretch passed up to Hugen as Hugen tries to dangle through, gets cut off. Nice back check by Reynolds. He's able to take that puck away and send it off of the boards, the backboards, that is, D to D. Sean gets it back from his D partner in Van Norman. As Van Norman stands up to Gorchinski in that neutral zone. Puck sent back in to the Hawks end. As skating with it's Stevenson before whipping this down the right wall, cut off by Eric Johnson as Johnson makes his way down low, tries to backhand that pass behind the back out in front, but couldn't get it there. Halamandaris tries to take it away. He now gets a quick little pass over to Belshaw, scores! And a tie game here at the Coy now. 2 unanswered from this Fort Garry Twins team. And at the center of it all there once again was Carter Halamandaris. What a night for him, especially as this game goes along. He's been so good on the forecheck tonight, has won the majority of his battles, wins another one there, and just the great awareness from Halamandaris to locate a wide open Balshaw who can let it rip. And indeed did let it rip there against Keegan Gordon. Another goal brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, serving Manitoba producers. Or no, sorry, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Sure to visit their website at midcanadafasteners.shop. This puck sent in deep for Charleswood. 14:25 remaining. As out in front, making a huge save was Pauls to keep that out against Traverse. Traverse comes back in to give a shove to number 6 in Johnson. Resulting in that is a whistle that blows right away. As both teams starting to get really chippy in this one, especially after the whistles. The Charleswood Hawks set up for another offensive zone draw. As Elliot Lewis ends up losing it. It's down low, now spinning away. Was Sperber trying to from the check-in, but couldn't. Jace Matthews has that stripped away by the other number 16, Matt Carlson. Carlson gets it back into the low slot for Lewis. Couldn't get the most of that shot, though, as he was contested well. Now into the high slot for Lavina, but loses his balance, and a turnover going the other way. It's Neufeld. Has Gilberto with him. Gets it to Gilberto. Tries to tip that by slowly changing the speed of pace on that shot to try to fool Gordon, but couldn't. It's number 1 making a huge save there on Gilberto. We got some more pushing and shoving after the whistles afterwards, but almost disaster there for this Charleswood Hawks team. You look like you had one prime scoring chance at least that gets stopped there by Alex Pauls, and then you have a potential to have another one by getting that puck up high to Glavina in the high slot, but Glavina loses his balance and ends up not cradling that puck. Turnover forced, and there's a wraparound goal! The Twins! 3 unanswered to now lead this one 6-5. 13:28 remaining. And it's Matt Lizotte. His huge third period continues. Second of the game here tonight. In a rare time where Gordon is at a disadvantage in his positioning, Lizotte recognizes that quick enough to that right post to tuck it in, and Gordon goes off of the back of his pad now, but ends up to a teammate. As that goal brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Lizotte from a sharp angle, that shot going wider than that this time. Held in by the Twins. Down low in the corner along the wall, being pressured are the Hawks by Hughing, a former Hawk himself. This held at the line again by this Fort Garry Twins squad, as they really are getting their cycle game going right now. As that turned over, Balshaw able to off the post. That goes almost a second of this period for number 11, but we remain 6-5 in favor of the Twins for now. Just more of the same from the Hawks in their own end when they've been struggling here tonight. It's just not making that first pass that great, right? And we saw it at times from the Fort Garry Twins. They got into trouble in their own end with some misplays with the puck. But it was more so in that first period where Charleswood was struggling more and more with their puck management near the start of the game. And it's something that's peaked it's reared its ugly head into this one, as the old saying goes. Gordon saved by the post there as Balshaw went right off the iron on the chance. As Balshaw back out there again, trying to force a turnover, and he does down low against Van Norman. This puck remains in the corner. Now onto the stick of Balshaw. Short little pass to Alamandaris. Oh, a bit of congestion on the way through as that went off of a stick. This went wide of the net. Johnson gets it back. A D to D. Plays this up in the direction of Balshaw. But turned over. Sent in deep again. Matani first one on it. Had some trouble getting that out as it went off a Hawks player's stick, but no worry for the Twins as they get in now. It's Gorchinski cutting to the middle. Feeds a pass to Halamandaris. Quick stick handling there from 22. Got a shot off. Got taken down afterwards. No call on the play, but now a whistle coming here as Neufeld gets whacked at. A few punches thrown at him. He's making his way back to the bench. There will actually be a call called now. It's one of the head referees calling 2 minutes for interference. It will be the captain and Van Norman going off for interference. The result of that Fort Garry Twins pressure being a bit too much for this Hawks team to handle right now as they're reeling a bit. Matani fakes the shot, gets it over to Hedlund as the Twins back on the power play. 2 PP goals already tonight. Just thrown over to Medwick. Medwick into the slot. That a mispass as it ended up into the skate of a Charleswood Hawks player. It's over up top to Matani, over to Medwick. His shot tipped on the way through, wide of the net it went. It's down low now to Gilberto. Backhand passed up to Medwick. As he stick handles, waits with patience. Sends this down low to Gilberto. Tries to send this out in front, but couldn't thread it past that net. Occupied by Gordon in the Hawk zone. A minute 23 remaining now on this power play. That long shot through. Rebound there, but wide of the net it goes as Gilberto stays on it. Whips it into the slot. Ends up being picked up by Hedlund. As Hedlund now, his shot through. Turned aside by Gordon. The Hawks off the boards. Finally get this cleared out. As Alec Pauls comes out of his net to leave this for number 20 in Matani. As he waits for his options to materialize. Goes to Gorchinski, over to Balshaw, now whips this out to Hugan, who surveys his options, tries going cross ice there to Gorchinski. Nice stick by Hugan to force that turnover afterwards as that shot from the point taken by Alamandaris. Save made by Gordon. So number 1's going to go in for some water now. Taking the helmet off to get a bit of breather for the time being. As this face-off draw back inside of the Hawk zone, Salamandaris will be there to take it. Number 1 unit out for this Twins team. Draw one by them. Hugan behind his net. Sets up in Gretzky's office. Gets it back to Halamandaris. Now into the corner for Hugan. Doesn't like what he sees in the slot. Goes right back to Halamandaris. Across to Johnson. Now goes to Gorchinski as Gorchinski maneuvers way up back again to Halamandaris. That shot through. Rebound. Gorchinski fanned on that puck, though, as it was bobbling on his stick. As Halamandaris gets it back. 8 seconds left now on this power play. Maybe one more shot. Doesn't seem like it will have a chance to even happen as we are back to even strength. Neufeld gets a handle on this puck, sends it back down low deep towards the net, cut off by Waddell. A good stick there by number 8, but didn't make a great pass out. Neufeld picks that off. Nice recovery by Waddell to ease him out into the boards, take him out of the play there. Sperber now coming in, trying to wrap this around. Oh, puck out in front, turned aside by Pauls. As right there, first support was Matt Carlson. ended up not elevating this puck, gave Pauls an advantage to stop that in tight. I think Carlson was too in tight, and it just happened so fast that he didn't have a chance to really get a good handle on that shot to try to lift it up. Regardless, sets up a much-needed offensive face-off zone draw here for the Charleswood Hawks, which they end up losing. Caligari off the boards goes to Hugin, but Hugin couldn't cradle that off that pass on the boards. Muscles his way up with some finesse through the blue line, gets it to a teammate. I believe number 29, Caligari, was turned away by Gordon on that shot. Now played up onto the stick. Carlson to the slot. Sperber scores! And just like that, we're back to square one in this game. Another tie here at the Koi. This time it's the Charleswood Hawks off the rush, working some magic. Carlson and Sperber. Big reason why they play on the same line together is the chemistry they have with each other there, knowing where each other should be and where they will be on the ice. As Carlson gains the zone, sees Sperber head into the slot, so he fires it back there quickly with the draw pass. And Sperber, been a very underrated player in this league this season. At one point, he was ranking among the top 5 in points as well as goals. Well, there's a reason he was once top 5 in goals with a shot like that, a quick and accurate one to thread it past Pauls. As crazy in this game, we're now up to 12 goals in total against 2 of the best goaltenders in the league. Just shows when you get 2 teams that have so many weapons like both of these teams do have on all sides of the ice that, hey, even if there is really good goaltending and really good defense, that these teams can turn a game into a shootout against each other, and that's exactly what we have here tonight. Matani's shot ripped off the pad of Gordon. Now a quick pass out into the slot as Halamandir is turned aside by Gordon. With 7:40 remaining, the MMJHL wins leader able to just keep this puck out and keep it a tie game here in the third period of action. Jace Matthews in on the draw, ends up losing this, and it gets all the way out into the neutral zone, fired back in again by the Twins as Van Alstyne locates Traverse with that puck. Almost turned over, but not quite. Bazin now getting into the lane to block that in the neutral zone, sent all the way into the crease of Pauls. As he'll get a stop and play here to settle his group down. Face-off draw won by the Twins. Flipped out. Van Alstyne tried to hop to keep that in, but couldn't quite to bat it down. It's picked up by Cole Penner. Decides to pass this into the stick if Traverse had some trouble with it. Got it back, though, in control for Van Alstyne, whose pass off the boards will be beat out off that icing call. Potentially coming by Penner. Good speed from number 6. To get there is now some pushing and shoving happening in front of the Twins' net. It's onto the ice. As Traverse was pushed there. Some words for the Twins as he skates back to his bench too. As the Morrison, Jacob, and Dudich line back out there for this Hawks team. A line that's added some skill to it with the addition of Jacob. And also fits the archetype of that line very well. So they're a hard-working line, adding some more hard work to it with a good forechecker and even more size there. As Jacob along the boards give a bit of a rub out. Number 19 and Lizotte. Lizotte gave him a shot right back. Van Alstyne over back to Parker White into behind the stick of Morrison. Puck ends up into the Twins' crease, covered up by Pauls. We'll get another face-off coming inside of the Fort Garry end. Same line remains out there for the Hawks. As Morrison goes up against Medwick on the draw. Medwin strong on it, wins it back. As Hedlund tried to rim that around, but couldn't. Shot gets through Medwick towards the net, but into the corner. Picked up by the Charleswood Hawks now and up to the point. Waddell, his shot, unable to get through. Twins able to clear this puck out now. Waddell tries to whip this up, but stripped away from the puck and now picked up by Darian Medwick. Loses this puck, trying to stick handle through to the middle, and now turned over onto the possession of Jacob's stick. Plays it over to Dudic, who tries to cut inside, but sticked away to keep this Hawks team to the outside, well by Caligari. Glavina picks the puck up now, skates this down low into the low slot for Sperber, looking for his second in a row in the lead, but denied. Now Carlson rips that shot, unable to quite get it through that heavy traffic of bodies there. As now Halamandaris whips this cross ice. Almost connects with Lazat, but just hopped over his stick. No icing on the play is called. It'll be Glavina who looks to skate with it. Made a nice little move at first. His pass, though, off the boards, the neutral zone cut off. It's Gorchinski heading towards the net. Whipped into the slot, but cut off there well by this Hawk squad. Sent in deep now and chased down by Sperber, but first to it was Twins defenseman and Eric Johnson. As Johnson back down low, backhands this quickly to deep partner McCanny. But the Hawks able to get it right back in again, looking to get in on the attack. But this stripped away by the Twins. Huge hit laid on there by Matani on the other captain. Not on the Twins, but on the Hawks and Van Norman. It's a bit of a reverse hit laid there by Matani. Draw pass to Gorchinski. Oh, what a move from 7. Through the legs he drags this. Passes it. Connects to Halamandaris. Spinorama pass into the slot. Belshaw couldn't cradle that cleanly, though, to make anything out of it. So with 4:15 remaining. Can't keep myself still up here in the broadcast booth. On my feet right now myself. It has just been a back and forth game down to the very end here against two top teams in this Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. Regular season action played up to Gilberto, opened up the score in this one, looks to do it again, but turned aside by that shoulder of Gordon. With 3:34 remaining, it's a huge save for number 1 for the Charleswood Hawks. Shots heading into this period, by the way, were 28-22 in favor of the Hawks. We'll be very curious to see what they end up at the end of this one. Dudic with some speed, picking some up. Cuts away now from the check-in. Fires this down low. Sent to the opposite corner. Picked up by the Hawks to the point. That shot can't get through. Went off of the shin pad of a Twins player. The Twins look to work this up now. Flipped into the neutral zone and glove down by Matt Lazat. Lazat makes his way past. Right into the slot for Huging, but fans on it there. Number 8 gets it to the side of the net for Medwick. Up top to Livingstone at the point. That shot blockered away by Gordon. Actually, I'm not even sure if it got through. Gordon reacted anyways with a blocker as he held it out. Livingstone ridden out along the boards. Tied up. Allows for maybe a 3-on-2. A 2-on-2 heading the other way for the Hawks, which that shot just wide of the net picked up by Huging off the boards. Under 3 remaining in this one now. Still a tie hockey game at 6-6. Who's going to play hero tonight? Here late in this one. Oh, Elliot Lewis. What a move. Another beauty by Lewis. Backdoor feet. Oh, what a save by Pauls to keep it out. Absolute chaos inside of the Twins. And what could have been the assist of the year. One of the best moves we've seen all year from Elliot Lewis. Ends off with just a desperation save. Huge one there from Pauls to keep this a tie game in the late stages of it. I'm not sure how Elliot Lewis even makes it through to make that. It looked like he lost his balance many times, but kept with it. Just speaks to the ability that guy has to stay on balance. Yeah, it looked like he was going to deke. I think he was going to attempt to at first at the last second, sees someone out of the corner of his eye heading towards the net, but in tight, Pauls has been solid all night long on shots like that, for the most part, and comes up with what is his biggest save of the game for himself, maybe the biggest save in this game in general. So minute 49 remaining. Almendares to take the draw for the Twins inside of the Hawks' end. So that ends up being won by the Twins, but taken out by the Hawks. Now whipped up to Balshaw at the blue line. Offside call on the play as Gorchinski just a bit too far ahead of Balshaw. This draw won by the Fort Garry Twins and sent all the way in deep into the Hawk zone. Puck along the boards, both teams trying to whack it free. And it'll be the Twins who do just that. Johnson shot from the point, turned aside by Keegan Gordon. So he makes another stoppage. With a minute 20 remaining in this one in regulation. Could we be seeing overtime? Seems to look that way right now, but anything can happen in these next 70 seconds coming up here. Pass D to D as the Twins look to play this up. Into the neutral zone it goes. Matani whips this out to Balshaw. Picked up by Almendares and over to Gorchinski, who unloads a shot wide of the net. As it goes to Almendares, getting a stick in the lane there was number 20 in Reynolds. Maybe saved a goal. Who knows what could have happened if that shot got through cleanly. We're under a minute left to play here now. 45 seconds to be exact. As Gorchinski kicks this behind the back to Almendares, gets it free up to the point to Matani. Passed across to Johnson. Johnson tries to get that to the net, but has that blocked up by number 3 and Sean. As into the neutral zone it goes, but picked up by Matani, rushes in. Matani now drags, shoots, and not turned aside by Gordon. As Matani giving a shot to a Hawk afterwards in front of the Hawks net. As the referees still trying to separate the two sides, and they finally do that. As the Hawks huddled around their goaltender. Now, of course, set to take the face-off. Morrison to take it against Medwick. Medwick wins it, but Morrison, nice second effort to get a stick on that, to push that through. Over to Dudic. Dudic tries to send that into the slot upon entry into the zone, but couldn't. 12 seconds remain now, flipped out by the Twins and given chase. Lizotte won't quite be able to get there fast enough to beat Waddell as he plays this to safety to Kai Parker on a D-to-D pass. And with that, as the horn sounds, we're going to get some overtime here on MMJHL Game Day on this Friday night. I wish we were broadcasting this one live, folks. What a game it has been here tonight. That third period was brought to you by McKen Fasteners and Tools. As we go into overtime, here are the rules. 3-on-3 at even strength for 5 minutes. Unless there are, of course, penalties called, then go to like 4-on-3s, 5-on-3s, stuff like that. But if neither team can solve it in these next 5 minutes, we go to a shootout where each team will go into the NHL style type of shootout rules, where after the third shooter, if the second team who shot scores, they end up winning it. the first team hasn't scored any, for example. In this overtime period coming up here on MMJHL Game Day. We'll throw it to a commercial before we start up here, folks.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
Well, welcome back to MMJHL Game Day. Overtime coming up here. A much shorter break for us than you all there as we edited in the commercial. But we are underway here for this overtime period. Sperber out with Stevenson, as well as number 18 in Parker White. Stevenson, or Sperber that is, on the puck. It gets cut off by Matani along the boards and allows for Halamanderis to pick this up out with Gorchinski. Halamanderis, his shot off the boards wide of the net. As this played over to Matani. Settles this down, gets this in to the neutral zone, to the possession of Gorchinski, who circles back into his own end and drops this back to Halamanderis. Patiently waiting right now as this Twins team to attack this Hawks defensive zone. As they're back into it. Draw back to the point by Matani to Halamanderis. Stick handling gets that knocked away by Kai Parker. Halamanderis, with some patience, moving slowly in his own end, waiting for things to develop. Leaves this draw pass back for Johnson, and Halamanderis goes off for a change. Johnson has to be careful here, being hounded on the forecheck by Carlson, and Carlson able to come away with the puck on a great effort from him. Carlson tries to get it back to the point, but taken out strongly there by Hugen as Hugen gets it right back over to Johnson, back into the middle as Johnson has that taken away into the skates of a Hawks player. Glavina now skating up the other way, has Carlson heading towards the net. Nice job to evade that check-in, gets it over to Reynolds, and Reynolds denied by Alex Pauls. It was off the rush, the Hawks were looking to end it. Twins saying, not just yet. As Alex Pauls denies his man. Vig Fussin takes away that puck from Hugen off of a failed dangle. Vig Fussin shot turned aside by Pauls. Steered into the boards as Vig Fussin gets it back. Now up to the point by Glavina. Holds the line. Glavina, a nifty skater in his own right, as we just saw moments ago. Skates back up, curls back up to the point before feeding this across to Vig Fussin. Vig Fussin shot blocked on the way through. Backhanded all the way out by Medwick. Not going to be down far enough for an ice, and his Penner will be first on it for the Charleswood Hawks. 2:30 remaining exactly here in overtime. We're halfway gone. As both of these teams looking to end it here. It's onto the stick of Cole Penner, number 6. Delays and stick handles now at the point. Trying to evade the check in there. Matani couldn't quite get away from him. Passed it over to Stevenson, but Stevenson didn't like the amount of space he had, so he just takes it back into his own end. Short little pass over to number 9 in Sperber, who muscles his way through. Sperber shot off of a stick and out of play into the mesh. So with 1:56 remaining, we got a face-off coming inside of the Charleswood end here, or the Twins end. Charleswood with an offensive zone face-off coming up. Matt Carlson against Gorchinski. It'll be won by number 7, the captain for the Twins, as he's back on it in the corner. Works it quickly to Headingley, as Headingley played it up. But off the mark for his captain and Gorchinski. Now this skated up by Reynolds, coming down with speed. Already has 2 in this game. Delays before the blue line, cuts back into the skates. He sends this to Matt Carlson. A missed pass takes out Carlson as he goes down after it went into his skates. Now picked up by Hedlund. Is Hedlund now. Skates it, passes up to the point as he goes to Halaman-Dares. Halaman-Dares into the low slot for number 7 in Gorchinski, but Gorchinski takes it right back into his own end now. Coming up on a minute left to play here in this overtime period. Gorchinski wheeling in, protects on the forehand, trying to keep protecting this, but can't. It's onto the stick of Sperber. Has White with him, drops it back to White, stays on this! Oh, that shot almost slow enough to fool. Paul's on a change in speed on that change-up of a shot as that pass to the point can't go for Parker White out of his own net. Far up in the zone is Gordon, who plays a stretch pass up but can't find a man as this turned over onto the stick of David Balshaw, trying to maneuver his way to net but ridden out along the boards. Huge defensive play there from number 7 in Glavina as he goes up with a head of steam as Glavina backhands this across to Penner, gloves this down, settles this down. 10 seconds left in the game now. Here we go. Penner, his shot turned aside by the blocker of Paul's into the corner. Matani flips this up. Lazat just out of his reach as we got a shootout coming up in this one, folks. The first 65 minutes couldn't solve it. So we are going to go to a shootout to end things off here at Eric Coy on this Friday night. Now, we don't have a shootout screen prepared, but what we are going to do is we are going to do this. So, for example, when a team scores in a shootout, say Charleswood is first to score, we'll put an X by their name momentarily, and as well as adding up the count of the shootout too. But as we reset our scoreboard, 0-0 right now in the shootout. 6-6 in this game here tonight. It'll be Rylan Huging, first one on to shoot for this Fort Garry Twins team. Coming in from right to left. Looking to shoot. Almost loses possession of this puck. Got it back. Tried to dangle in on Gordon, but Gordon denies him. And with that, X on the board for the Charleswood Hawks for this round. Vic Fussin will be the shooter for Charleswood to start things off. He comes in slow as well. Looking to dangle. Backhand, forehand, but turned aside by Pauls as he wasn't fooled by that at all. Sorry, X for the Twins and X for the Hawks now. So we go on to round 2 of the shootout. It'll be the ever so fancy Dean Gorchinski coming in slowly as well. Going from side to side, tries to fake out Gordon and shoot that low glove side, but can't as he's denied on that one. And with that, this sets up for Kalen Reynolds to potentially get his team closer to a win in his first game in the Hawks jersey. His shot denied by Pauls as he was on top of his crease to come out and save that one, giving Reynolds really nothing much to shoot at. So with that, through 2 rounds, still scoreless here. A player who knows a thing or two about scoring against Gordon has done it tonight here in Halaman-Dares, looking to do it a 3rd time, but can't quite elevate that over the pad of Keegan. It's number 1 keeps that out. Another miss for the Twins. Carlson with the game on his stick, coming down with a bit more speed. Dangle scores! And with that, it wasn't pretty by any means, but they'll definitely take it. The Charleswood Hawks winning this one here tonight by a score of 7-6 over the Fort Garry Twins. The final in the shootout. Matt Carlson with the game on his stick. Saw his last teammate that went in Kalen Reynolds shot and was denied by Pauls. The deke the first time around by Vig Fussin. Wasn't quite executed well enough. So what does Matt Carlson do? He comes in with a bit more speed this time around. Looks like he fakes the shot. Maybe lost a handle of it, but got it back right away. Great composure from him. Pulls it to the backhand and had Pauls totally out of position, as he was able to put it into what was an empty net. Hedlund and Lizotte with some words for Keegan Gordon at the end of this one. Sure, these guys very close with each other, you know, as friends at that. Always great when you're able to play your buddies in this league. And within the game, of course, your enemies, but after the game, you're always able to, you know, keep those friendships intact, which is awesome. Same with Ledzinski and Taylor as well, having some words with each other after that. Great to see these two teams able to come together and be civil after a game like that, which got pretty chippy, to be honest with you folks. But yeah, in a back and forth affair here tonight, I thought that honestly the Twins in overtime, like, yeah, I mean, you want to be patient with your attack if you're able to. You have more open ice, but I just didn't find there was much urgency from them in that overtime period to try to get to the net. I get maybe they were patient, trying to wait for things to open up, but you already got most of the ice open up. It's 3-on-3 hockey. I just wasn't a fan of that process, to be honest with you, from how they approached that overtime period. Regardless, so I mean, what a game from them, scoring 3 unanswered to end up getting the lead on the Charleswood Hawks. And for Charleswood, I mean, this is a team that's a championship contender, right? That's looking to be a championship contender after all the moves they made. You're going to have games like this potentially where it's not always going to be easy, and they've been through games similar to this so far this season. They're able to come away with it here tonight. I think that's huge for this team's confidence to win another one like this. And also, like, the moves they've made, these players fitting in very well. And Kalen Reynolds, who was great for them tonight, as well as Anthony Jacob. Parker White was traded to this team earlier on this season, and he was pretty solid tonight too, right? But was really impressed from the Charleswood Hawks and from both of these two teams in general, just continuing to fight back and punch back after the other one would throw the first shot. Very entertaining indeed, and I mean, if these teams were both able to make it through the first round of the playoffs and meet up with each other in the semifinals, I don't think anyone would be complaining about the potential, the possibility of that series happening. Charleswood on the season now ends up leading it 3-1. Last game of the season between these two teams will be played on February 16th at Century Arena. We're going to get into our players of the game here to end things off. For the losing side of things in the Fort Garry Twins, gonna do it by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs here in Manitoba. Be sure to check out their store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg today, as well as their website at midcanadafasteners.shop. Yeah, tonight, going to give this to Fort Garry Twins forward number 22 in Carter Halamandaris. Yeah, had a multi-point night for number 22. He was making so much happen, creating on the forecheck at a high level here tonight. And, yeah, I mean, he was rewarded with, of course, that goal in that second period to make things 4-3 at a time. He ends up setting up David Balshaw's game-tying goal at the time, which was a sweet feed from Halamandaris. And, yeah, number 22 is all over it here tonight was rewarded with some points and stood out the most to me out of any player on this Fort Garry Twins team. So he gets player of the game for the Twins here tonight, brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Be sure to visit their website at midcanadafasters.shop. Got a bit too ahead of myself there. But yeah, as for the winner's side player of the game, it's going to go to newcomer to this team in Kalen Reynolds. What a night for him. He scores 2 goals, was close to scoring a hat trick in this one, but he was all over it. And you can make an argument as soon as he scored that first goal in his Hawks career to make it 1-1 that the energy kind of changed for this Hawks team. They were getting hemmed in to start off the game. They were down already 1-0, and that goal by Reynolds really did change the momentum and change the course of how I think this game ended up playing out. Reynolds was all over it tonight on the forecheck, was making prime scoring opportunity after prime scoring opportunity happen every time he was on the ice, whether that was with him instilling his size, getting into the right spots into that quiet ice to get open, or making passes. Like, Reynolds was great here tonight, and also awesome on the back check, playing a complete 200-foot game, and rewarded with 2 goals here tonight in his Charleswood Hawks debut. Oh no, look, I don't believe he had any assists on the night, but yeah, that's Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia's player of the game, going to Charleswood Hawks newcomer and Kalen Reynolds. For the Fort Garry Twins, brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, that goes to Carter Halamandaris. The Charleswood Hawks move into sole possession of second place in the MMJHL after this win here tonight, as we'll throw it to the standings one last time. We'll keep you updated, too, if Charleswood clinched come Sunday's live stream, as Transcona clinched with their win last night. Charleswood moves to 21-7-1 on the season, as Fort Garry still earns a point in this one, but falls to 27-2 on the year. These two teams back in action this Sunday, as the Hawks and Twins both playing in night games, 3 Sunday afternoon games, but the Hawks will be back in action on the road to face off against the River East Royal Knights, looking to go 2-0 on the weekend, and for Fort Garry, looking to go 1-1 to salvage their weekend as they look to bounce back against the defending champs at home on Sunday evening. Special thanks to you, the viewer, for tuning into this one, everybody. Stay tuned for Sunday's edition of MMJHL Game Day, as we'll be live at Seven Oaks Arena to broadcast Victoria's versus Raiders. Thank you to our sponsors in Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cards, and Memorabilia. Terrico and Goaltenders are sponsoring another edition of MMJHL Game Day in this pre-recorded version. Thank you all for tuning into this one. The Hawks win this one in the shootout by a final score of 7-6. Matt Carlson played the hero with the game winner. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.